Welcome back, guys. So it is January Stats Day. I've got a bunch of numbers here for the state of Florida and my local areas that I think are going to surprise you quite a bit. There's a few things I want to go over here, a bunch of discrepancies that really surprised me that I have to point out before we go any further. So to kick it off, let's jump right into the MLS data for Charlotte County for January of 2024. Now, I want to point out something to you here, guys. As I've mentioned before we get into median asking price, listing price, any of that stuff, we have 10.66 months of inventory here in Charlotte County, Florida, and I'm getting pushback on this again. This is all MLS data sorted, and how do they come to that number? So all they simply do is take the entire amount of listings for single-family homes, which is 2,984 currently, and they divide them by the amount of homes that sold in January, 280. So that's how you get your month's supply of inventory traditionally. However, that is not how the Board of Realtors or the Association of Realtors determines months of inventory. Jumping over to Charlotte County for the Association of Realtors, you can see right off the bat their month's supply of inventory is actually only 7.3, which if it was 3.0 compared to them last year is a 143% increase. Still pretty high jump. Not great news for sellers, good news for buyers. But you may ask yourself, well, how did they come to 7.3, Ben, and you and the MLS came to over 10? Because they've got a pretty close amount of listings. They're at 2,916 total listings, and the MLS is at 2,984. So you'll see these will deviate a little bit. If you go to Redfin, you'll probably get different numbers. They vary ever so slightly, whereas the MLS had 290 properties that were closed. Punta Gorda's association has 295, so very slight fluctuations there. But you'll also notice that if you divide 2,916, let me just pull the calculator up for you. So we take 2,916 divided by their closed sales of 295, and what do we get? 9.88 months of inventory. So basically 10 months of inventory, guys. So how do they come to 7.33? You might ask yourself. Well, it took me a while to figure it out. Now, it turns out that they actually take the average of the trailing 12 months homes sold. So they take every single month, the past 12 months, how many houses sold, and then they take the average of that and they apply that to the inventory of active listings. When I did that, that's how I got that 7.3 number. Now, the issue that creates is what sort of lag effects are we going to see with that? And when you turn around and start seeing, our inventory, look at our inventory of active listings is up from 1,196 to 2,916, guys, 143% increase in just a year. And you may say, well, how does that happen? If we've all been racking our brains about how does this happen? So that's something you guys got to keep just in mind going forward. While you may see different data that I pull from the MLS from here, because that there's two almost different methodologies. And again, whichever one you prefer, it almost doesn't matter because you can still see the massive inventory jump. It was 3 months supply of inventory last year for single family homes in Charlotte County. We're at 7.3. That's still a giant jump. If we look at it in the other direction, we are at 10 months of inventory for January of 2024, and it is up 78% from January 2023. So actually, not as drastic if you look at it from the MLS standpoint, but yeah, 5.97, and it bumps up to 10.66 from MLS. It's actually a pretty big jump from December. A lot of people listed in January, and we have not closed that many homes. 280 is better than we did last year. We sold 280 properties in Charlotte County compared to 248 last year, but in December we sold 371. And December is kind of our month where people say, oh, nobody buys in December, but they bought more houses. They closed more houses in December than we did in January. So we'll see where the pending sales go. But let's jump in statewide with that asterisk, just so you guys know that's why you're going to get different data discrepancies. Let's hop right into the state. All right, so this is just going to be single family, guys. I'm not going to do condos because it's going to take too long. I'll do it in a separate video. And you guys like videos about 15 minutes from what YouTube tells me. So don't go over that, and I'm going to try not to. Closed sales, pretty much the same as last January, only up 0.6%, closing about 14,851 there. Median percent of original list price, 96%. I had someone in the comments go, oh, you're cherry picking data from January when no one gets their asking price. See what happens in the summer. Well, if you can go to floridarealtors.org, you can pull these numbers. and go in July and go in June, and you will find out that they got about 97% of ask this summer as well. Now, 2022, they got 100% of ask, but in 2023, it dropped down to 97. Right now, it's at 96. So it's not that big of a discrepancy as some think it is. Median time to contract, pretty stable, 43 days. Median time to sale, 87 days. New pending sales down ever so slightly, down 2.9%. But let's get to the new listings. They are up 16% for the month of January from last year. We listed only about 4,000 and change, 4,400 more. Pending inventory down again, only down 3,000. Inventory of active listings up 24% statewide, guys, going from 65,000 to 81,000. Now, when you look at numbers like you're going to see in my area, that doesn't look very substantial, but that's a pretty good jump. I mean, and months supply of inventory jumping 35%, going from 2.8 months to 3.8. Still statewide, very, very tight market, statewide on the whole. Let's take a look at cash sales because you guys like this one. On the downtrend since 2021. So 2021 had about 10,000 at the peak. Now we're down to about 6,000 cash sales right now. But as a percentage of closed sales, so how many of the sales that are happening are in cash, they are still hovering at that 30% rate. Beautiful line again. Wow. Statewide median sales price hovering at 405,000, staying pretty level throughout the past 2 years here, kind of bumping around. Normalizing, I would say, is more of the trend. Average sales price coming out of the gate January for the state of Florida. Single family homes smashing a new all-time high. 612,000 is the average sales price. The previous high in 2023 was 601. The previous high in 2022 was 602. We've smashed it first month of the year. December's average sales price was 566, so that's even an enormous jump. Now it is average, but that's a new high. That's a new all-time high right off the rip. As you guys can see, our inventory of active listings has pretty much returned to 2020 levels just before the mayhem. So we've got about 81,000 right now. Months supply in the same boat. So January of 2020, we were sitting right around 3.2. We're actually over that, sitting at 3.8 ever so slightly. So this is kind of the theme right now, guys, is normalization is what I'm seeing statewide. And I got to touch on the foreclosures, guys, because, oh my God, they're up 37% to a whopping 131 houses. So you will see headlines most likely that foreclosures skyrocket 40% in the state of Florida. And that's not wrong. They're up 40%. But out of 14,000 closed sales, 131 of them were foreclosures. They don't, I think they should probably give you the percentage here, but you can kind of see it on this chart. It's almost impossible to see up here for foreclosures and short sales. Short sales even staying steady, actually down just a slight tick, going from 26 to 25 this year. Now we covered most of Charlotte County, but I'll hit it here again real quick. Median sales price down 0.3%, average sales price up 11%. Year over year, this actually broke the 2023 all-time high average sales price, guys, for Charlotte County by $1,000. It was $469,000 last year was the peak. We hit $470 in the first month of January. So that's very interesting, but let's take a look at the price trend. As you guys can clearly see, average price not peaking again over the 2022 prices yet. So while it is up year over year, it is not back to all-time highs. It's got quite a ways to go. I believe the all-time high was over 500 and change. I'd have to check, but that's my recollection. New pending sales. Another pushback I got in the comments was summer was prime selling season. Guys, February, March, April is our peak times. You'll see that here. New pending sales, highest in March of 2021. New pending sales, highest in March of 2022. Oh, look at this. New pending sales, highest in March of 2023. January usually kicks it off, and we will see where the next 2 months go. But this is our selling season, guys, not really the summer. Now, when we take a look at new listings, we do see a little bump every January for a little higher jump in listing activity because December is usually low, but not this high usually. This is a very big jump this January, which I have kind of forecasted was coming, and now we're starting to see that materialize. Inventory of active listings, guys, Charlotte County, 1,600 at the beginning of 2020. We are damn near 3,000 single-family homes on the market, guys. This isn't condos, townhouses, or land. This is single-family homes, and I get so much pushback from people that tell me that this isn't happening, and here it is. It's right here on the charts. And months of inventory, guys, absolutely blowing past anything we saw back in 2020. Pretty much well above 2022 levels of months of supply of inventory. Sitting at 4.0 in January 2020. Now we're sitting at 7.3. So when you look at this at the 5-year, you can really see the drastic changes. Let's jump right into Naples, Immokalee, Marco Island, sitting at 7.1 months of single family homes. Big slowdown there, 57% increase from last year, 43% increase in the amount of active listings. This is pretty severe, 1929 up to 2773. Their pending inventory is down 21% from last year, while their new listings are up 21%, and their pending sales for the month of January are also down 10.4%. So when they say new pending sales, guys, this is only sales that went under contract in January. Their pending inventory is the overall inventory that's under contract at the time. Both down considerably. But yet the median sales price is up 12.7%, and surprisingly, the average sales price is down 6.9%. Year over year. That's an interesting stat. Their closed sales only down 3%, so pretty stable from last year. Cape Coral, Fort Myers, let's get it, guys. Sales down 8.6%, paid in cash down 23%, median sales price down 3.6%, average sales price up 8.7%. Months of inventory down there at 6.1 according to the association, though if you saw my community post the other night, Cape Coral's got 10 months of housing inventory according to their MLS. So little discrepancies here. They'll also lump these in with these huge areas, so it's really hard to drill down from their numbers. But still, that's a 90% increase, even by their numbers, from the year before, up from only 3.2 months of supply, 82% increase in the number of single-family homes in Lee County, guys, going from 3,803 to 6,930. You know, a subscriber commented in and said there was over 5,000 homes for sale in Lee County. I said, this guy's crazy. He's got to have land in there or something. I checked it out. That was right. Total inventory back in 2020 looks like it was just under 6,000. Now it's approaching 7. That's not as drastic as a jump as we've seen in Charlotte. So this seems like this is, again, more of a normalization thing. We'll see if it continues for Lee County, because month supply follows suit. Now they're higher than 2020, but this isn't like an absolute blowout like we're seeing in Charlotte County for months of supply. We'll see where it goes from there, though. You can see the trend is going. And Sarasota, Northport, Bradenton, I absolutely hate this chart. I'm going to go into Northport for you guys because these should not be lumped together. It's such a wide area, and Northport, as I've continuously said, is Northport, Charlotte. Any way you slice it, but let's take a look. They are up 14% on sales, paid in cash up 26%, median sales price up 9.3%, average sales price up 15.6%. This area has also seen a nice months of supply bump, up 46%, going from 3 to 4.4 months, with a 54% in active listings, increasing from 3,603 to 5,555. I'm going to jump you guys over here to Northport at 116 closed sales, 107 last year. It's actually up. Cash sales, 41 of those were cash sales. Median sales price in Northport sitting at $387. It's actually an 11% increase from last January. Average sales price up 18% in Northport. Good Lord, from $378 to $448. My Lord. Yet the median percent of original list price is 95%, 103 days to a contract in Northport. And it's crazy that shocks me because that's what used to be normal. But now I'm like, wow, 3 months. Oh my God. Oof. Pending sales down 12%. Pending inventory down 38%. Active inventory up 84%. 949 single family homes. 75% increase in the months of supply, going from 3.2 to 4.6. So let's take a look at it in the MLS stats. We're going to basically see pretty close numbers there, probably except for inventory. What's inventory in the MLS? According to the MLS, Northport's inventory is 9.5 months of inventory, up 55%. When you look at here, the inventory jump was 75%. And then you're going to go get 2 different numbers from Zillow or Redfin or God knows where else that these things are pulled from. It's kind of crazy. Average days on market skyrocketing, as we saw. Average price per square foot was sitting around $250. That is kind of what I was basically pricing houses in Northport without pools at $250 back in the day, back in the old days of 2022, and now we're at about $225. So about a 10% clip there. So now I'm going to jump just to Punta Gorda single family homes. You can see this is the area, the basically Punta Gorda Isles area that I'm pulling, all waterfront mostly. We're going to apply that right here. We're going to see what this is the Association of Realtors numbers. We're going to see what they have to say here. 18 closed sales in January 2024. Median sales price of $532 in Punta Gorda Isles, and it was $675 in January 23, down 21%. Wow. Okay. Average sales price $766. Dollar volume down 7%. Wow, that's one of the bigger ones I've seen. Median percent of asking price, 94%. Taking about 110 days to close one of these bad boys. Pending sales up 50% from last year, though. New listings, 97. Months supply of inventory, 9.1 in Punta Gorda Isles, going from 3.3 to 9.1 according to the Association of Realtors, a 175% increase. Active inventory up 140%, going from 127 homes to 305. To contrast that, if you pull the MLS stats, I will show you right here. The MLS is showing, we'll change it to percent. Punta Gorda has 17.6 months supply of inventory because they're doing the numbers differently. And they've only sold 20, and what did they sell on Sunstats? 18. So things are close, but it's really going to depend where you get this data. I want the numbers in the now. In the now, 17.6 months of inventory in Punta Gorda. So that's what I got for today, guys. Please give me a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.